How's it going? My name is Spencer, and welcome to Chats with Spencer, where I like to ask my guests fun and unique questions so you and I can get to know them a little bit better. My guest today is one of the greatest Magic the Gathering players of all time. He has 12 Pro Tour top 8s with 2 wins, 19 GP top 8s with 2 wins, and is the current World Champion. He recently won 2 awards for Card Player of the Year and Esports Player of the Year at the Brazilian Esports Awards. He plays for Tempo Storm, Nutella enthusiast Paulo Vitor, Damo Rosa. Welcome, Paulo.
Hey, how are you?
Great, great. I'm super excited to have you here. Been following you in Magic for quite a while. You've been in the game for so long, and you just seem like a good guy that people like to cheer for.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, so for people unaware of Paulo's story of how he got into Magic, he was reading an anime magazine, and it was for Saint Seiya, I believe,
Yes, yes.
the anime, and he saw an advertisement for Magic, and that's what kind of got him started on the journey. So 8 years old, pretty young to be getting into Magic. But Paulo, can you tell us maybe a bit about yourself before you found the game? Maybe the things you were interested, the kind of kid you were. I know I read your article from Star Cities, the part one of your life, and you said you've been told you were kind of a hellraiser as a young kid, which is so funny because you seem like such a calm guy.
Yes, I'm very different now. My
Mm,
relatives, you know, I have a very older, like a much older brother, and he just says he doesn't understand how the child that I was became the adult that I am
mm,
because we're very very different. I think the constant was that I've always liked thinking about things, you know, like strategy stuff. So that was
okay.
part of what drew me towards Magic. But I liked playing cards with my parents, and I liked reading a lot when I was younger too. I love playing video games, so not that different.
Mm-hmm.
And also I've always liked the fantasy setting. Right, so when I play video games or when I read things, they were always like dragons and wizards and
Mm-hmm.
spells. They were never, you know, like guns and tanks and stuff like that. It was always just fantasy. So when I
Mm-hmm.
found Magic, it seemed very appealing because it was the mix of the cards and strategy that I liked with the settings that I liked. So that was
Mm-hmm.
what drew me towards it originally. But other than that, I mean, I was, I guess, a pretty regular kid, if a little bit more nerdy in my preferences, but not that different, I think.
I feel like that's fair for a lot of Magic players. It's just like err on the side of nerdiness, but that's okay. So you talked about video games. Do you remember a video game as a kid that really resonated with you?
I mean, I liked, I really liked the RPGs,
Okay.
the Japanese RPGs, but I often
Mm-hmm.
struggled because I was very young. I didn't speak English very well. And
Oh, okay.
sometimes these games were just in English. So can you imagine
Mm-hmm.
playing an RPG without knowing what is actually going on? You know, I just like the mechanics of it.
Mm-hmm.
I like there's like Sonic, for example, was a game that I played a lot. I liked fighting games a lot, like Marvel versus Capcom and things like that. So I think those were the two big genres that I liked, RPGs and fighting games. But also just like normal progression games, like Golden Axe is a game that I played a lot.
Okay.
So always in this same type of setting, but yeah.
And I also find it really interesting, Paulo. You mentioned this in your article and kind of just right now that what drew you to the game was that fantasy element. When I think maybe a lot of people who, well, maybe not a lot, but a certain percentage of Magic players, they kind of just like the mechanics. It's not so much the world that they're really drawn to. So it's kind of unique that you're like, yeah, that's what really drew me to the game. That fantasy.
Yeah, it is different. I think a lot of people nowadays they look at the cards and they just see the numbers, right? It is
Yes.
sort of how I look at the cards now. Like I still see flavor, I still
Mm-hmm.
care about flavor, but it doesn't matter as much as just what's written in the card,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think yeah, for many things this would never be the case. For example, no one likes chess because they like the flavor of it, right? You know, the
True.
battle and the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
knights and stuff. It's not really a thing, you know. Those are just representing the pieces,
Mm-hmm.
and the goal is the game. But Magic is very different. Like it has all these images and like all this setting. And it's not just Magic. I think, for example, I've always liked Warcraft and I've never liked Starcraft,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And basically, I think it is pretty much widely acknowledged that StarCraft was a better game than Warcraft,
Mm-hmm.
at least from a competitive point of view. It was a much more popular game for competition, and I never even had any interest in it because I just like dragons more than robots, right? So
Yes.
I think. and to this day, like fantasy novels, for example, I read a lot of books because I travel
Okay.
so much, and what I do while I travel is reading, and it's always the same kind of book. It's always fantasy books because this is just the setting that I like. So if they were to just change Magic completely right now,
Mhm.
and replace Magic with guns, I wouldn't like it, but I would continue playing because to me, what matters now is what's put in the card. But I
That's
certainly
fair.
would not have started if it was like that from the beginning.
Okay. Okay. So, Paulo, what are some things outside of Magic that kind of bring you joy, whether it could be an activity or just like certain things?
Well, I really like reading, as I said, fantasy
Hmm.
novels. I like watching TV shows. I watch a ton of TV shows, and I'm pretty eclectic when it comes to TV shows. Like I'll watch, baking shows and
Hmm.
house building shows, and also like law shows and crime and drama and romance. I watch basically an assortment of things. As long as it's good, I'll probably like it.
Okay.
I like going out to eat a lot. I like trying out new things. I don't have a very sophisticated palate, you could say, so I don't really notice the difference between like very good food and just normal good food. But I do
Okay.
like having new experiences when it comes to food,
Hmm.
so I'll try most things at least once. I like games a lot. I think it makes sense, right? Magic player, but I still play RPGs in the computer a lot. I played Final Fantasy VIII the other day, right? I just decided I want to play it again.
Hmm.
So I played it. I played Baldur's Gate, Diablo, League of Legends, Teamfight Tactics, like Heroes 3. So I play both old and new games. I play a lot of games. I like board games a lot when I get together with my friends and my
Hmm.
wife. We usually just play a bunch of different party games, like, ranging from Pictionary to Dixit to code names and stuff
Hmm.
like that. So I like games a lot in general. Yeah, I'd say there's the things. I like both being alone and being social. I think that's a lot of people. They're like, no, I just always like being alone. I always like being surrounded by people.
Hmm.
I like being surrounded by people, but I also don't mind if I have to be by myself for a while because a lot of the things that I like to do are social, but a lot of things
Hmm.
I like to do I can just do by myself, like playing a game
Hmm.
or reading a book.
Okay. I heard in another interview from a few years ago that you listed two other interests as bridge and volleyball. Can you just give us maybe like a rundown how you kind of got into those two things?
Well, volleyball. I live in Brazil, and we have a lot. We're very sports centric,
Hmm.
right? So volleyball is something that you play from since you're very young. Like
Okay.
normally, boys play soccer, right?
Yes.
But I tried soccer. I didn't like it very much. I liked volleyball instead. So it's not nearly as popular as soccer here because soccer is just like
Hmm.
it's extremely popular. It's the most popular thing, but it is still relatively popular here. So it's not hard to find volleyball groups wherever you go. Like I joined, I went to a new school and they had a volleyball team, right? And then
Hmm.
I went to university and they didn't have a team, but there were just enough people that played in our class that we could form a team. Like so, it is relatively popular. And I do like it a lot. It's the only sport I'm good at. Maybe that's why I like it, or maybe
Okay.
that's why I'm good at it because I'm just really horrible at soccer. So when we were in school and we were picking teams for soccer, I would always be last, and for volleyball, I would always be first. So
Okay.
I'm much better at volleyball. And bridge, a friend of my mom's actually introduced bridge to me. Bridge is usually a game that's played by older people, or at least there is this
Hmm.
notion that it is. And it was a friend of my mom that introduced me. So I guess that's partly true. She knew I liked card games, and she said, "Oh, I played this game. I think you'll like it." And then I went to the club. They taught me, and I really liked it. I think Bridge is just an incredible game. So
Hmm.
I've Bridge is the other game that I've competed in. All the other games that I talked about, I just play for fun, right? I have no
Yes.
competitive aspirations. I'm not good enough. I just enjoy playing that. But Bridge, I did play competitive for a while. I even played the Junior World Championship of
Hmm.
Bridge back when I was a junior. So I do like it a lot. I think it's a great game. If I had more time, I would play more. It's hard to play to dedicate enough, right? Because with something like League of Legends, I don't
Yes.
care if I'm bad because I know that I'll never be good and I just play
Hmm.
for fun. So if
Hmm.
I play one game, I lose or I do badly, I don't really care. It doesn't affect me. But
Yeah.
in Bridge, I know that I can be good if
Hmm.
I dedicate. So when I play, and I don't have time to dedicate to different
That's
games,
fair.
right, as much as
Hmm.
I would need to. So I play, and then I do badly, and then it hurts me because I know that I could be better with just more
Hmm.
effort, and I would like to
Hmm.
be better. So it's hard to do both things at once. Whereas playing all these other games is not hard because I literally just play them for
Yes.
fun. But I still play Bridge from time to time, even if I can't dedicate as much because I do think it's a great game.
could you see yourself far in the future dedicating more time to bridge? Maybe like pursuing that a bit more?
I think it's something that I could do. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if I would be good enough for that, right?
Hmm.
There are a lot of people that play and are really good, and it's a really really hard game. But
Hmm.
it is a possibility, yeah. If for some reason Magic were just to end, right, all of a
Yes.
sudden, then maybe a couple years down the line, I would be good enough at Bridge.
So, Paolo, can you think of an artist or band or group that people should check out music wise?
Well, I don't really have a favorite like artist, band, group. I don't listen to music that
Okay.
much. I do
Okay.
enjoy music, but it's not really a part of my life. Right? For example,
Okay.
like my wife, she has 10,000 songs
Hmm.
in, and then she's like, oh my god, I can't be without my iPod for a day, or whatever.
Hmm.
And like I enjoy music if it's on, but I don't really care that much about it. I like musicals though, a
Okay.
lot. So I guess does that count? Can I recommend a musical?
Yes. Yes, you can
I think
100%.
I've well right now it's gonna be pretty tough because pandemic, right? But
Hmm.
I've been to Broadway a lot. I really really enjoy it, and I've watched a bunch of shows. And I think the best thing that I've ever watched in a theater was Wicked.
Wicked.
So
Okay.
yeah, for those who don't know, Wicked is the story of the Wicked Witch of the West, right, from the Wizard of Oz, but it's told from the witch's perspective. She's the main character, and it was just so good because the story was great, the effects were great, and the music was great.
Hmm.
So everything was great, and it has this, it's a different twist to a story that we already sort of know, but from a different perspective. And I
Hmm.
just thought it was incredible. I've actually watched it more than once. It's the only one that I've watched more than once. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
Are you a fan of just like video musicals as well, or are you like obviously going live is the preferred method, but just like movies that have a musical element in them, are you a fan of those?
Yeah, I think I can be. I don't like them as much, I think.
Hmm.
But for example, I've both watched and seen the Phantom of the Opera, and I thought
Hmm.
it was enjoyable. I watched Hamilton at home, right,
Hmm.
because I didn't, and it was
Yeah.
it was cool as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't think I have anything against that. So, but it is much more impressive when you're watching it live because then it feels like this incredible accomplishment, right? If I'm watching it on TV, even though I know it's live, it's like, yeah, they do all sorts of special effects on TV, right? Like, if you, for example, if you watch Aladdin, then in the
Hmm.
theaters there's this scene with the carpet where they actually fly through
Hmm.
through the sky, and
Hmm.
that's just incredible if you're watching it live because it's not supposed to be like that. Whereas on a movie, it's like, yeah, who cares? They're flying. People fly in movies all the time, right? Even though it's
Hmm.
the same thing, it feels more special if it's in person.
All right, Paolo's. So obviously you seem like I said, a super nice guy, super positive. But is there something that annoys you? It could be something super small or
Oh,
big.
there's so many
You can.
things. There's so many
All right,
things.
let me hear it.
Lines annoy me very much. I hate waiting in lines. Spam calls annoy me a lot. Though I guess these aren't good, these things that are specific to me, right? Everyone's going to be annoyed by
Yeah,
those
no
to
one.
some level or
Mhm.
another. I think my biggest pet peeve, the thing that annoys me the most compared to other people, is using like fake stupidity as a plot point in movies or books,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Because a lot of the time I get really invested in the characters and the setting of either a show or a book or a movie, and then something happens that like I know these characters would never do something this stupid, but they only
Mhm.
did it because it was required for the plot to move forward,
That's fair.
right? Because if they
Okay.
just acted rationally, then there would be
Mhm.
no plot, there would be no issues,
Mhm.
so an issue had to be created. And I just think that's really really cheap, and
Mhm.
kind of demeans the entire show or book or movie for me. So I think this might be my biggest pet peeve. I don't like when characters are artificially made stupid, so that, and then right after that they go back to being rational characters, right? So I don't like that very much.
Okay. This is just a random kind of follow-up question, but what's the most you would wait in line for something, Paolo? So it's something, just say it's like a restaurant you really want to go to, or it's one of your favorite restaurants. What's the max time limit you would wait in that line?
Oh, I mean, it really depends on what my alternative is, right?
Okay.
Sometimes you just have to wait in line. You don't have a
Yes, for sure.
choice, right? But for a restaurant, I probably wouldn't like. It depends, right? If I'm waiting with a big group, then I know
Hmm.
that there's going to be a wait somewhere else anyway, and then we're
Yes.
just talking. We don't care how hungry I am. I would say that like half an hour. I usually would not like waiting more than half an hour to go to any
Yeah.
specific place
Okay.
unless I had a choice. Unless I had no choice.
All right, we're gonna switch pace a bit, and these are gonna be more rapid fire, so you can answer as quick as you can. But if you want to elaborate, that's okay with me too.
Okay.
All right, Paulo. So, what's your favorite sports team?
Well, I think T1. It's an esports team. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
from like they used to be SKT. I really like League of Legends.
Hmm.
And they're a Korean team. They were the best team in the world for many years. They're not the best team in the world right now, but I still feel very heavily invested. So I would say that that is probably my favorite team. My favorite team. And if we're
Okay.
only counting conventional sports, I don't really support any team. You know, I don't have really a soccer team that I care about.
Hmm.
So I would say the sports team that I cheer the most for is Brazilian volleyball. So our national, both
Yeah.
women
Okay.
and men, I think
Hmm.
they're the only sport that I'll go and watch and I'll actually like be upset when we lose.
Hmm.
Is
All
volleyball.
right. Good answer. Dogs or cats?
Cats. I mean, I have a dog. I really like both, right?
Okay.
But I think I'm more of a cat person than a dog person in
Hmm.
general. I've had both throughout my life. I have a dog now. I love her, but if I have to pick one, I think normally cats.
Okay. Spring or fall?
Spring. It's when my birthday is, so I like it more.
I think I know the answer to this one, but M&Ms or Skittles?
I actually don't love either, to be completely
Oh,
honest
really?
with you. Yeah.
I thought you were really into chocolate, so I was
Oh
gonna be
no,
like,
I do, but I think M&M it's kind of like bad as far as chocolate goes. So like at
okay,
least
that's fair.
Skittles is good in its purpose, right? What it's trying to
Yes. Okay.
be, it's good.
Hmm.
I don't think I would rather just eat a chocolate bar than M&Ms,
Hmm.
right? So I don't see the point of ever eating M&Ms basically because I just
That's fair.
like the regular thing more.
Yeah, you'd rather just have a chocolate bar. Okay.
Yes.
One of your favorite movies.
Um, Inception. I guess that
Okay.
was what came to mind, so that's gonna be my answer.
Adventurous or relaxing vacation?
I like both. Well, it depends on the adventure. Um, yeah, I like a mix. I don't like when oh, I'm on vacation. I'm gonna be 2 weeks just doing things because it might feel like work, right? Just one thing
Hmm.
after the other after the other. I want some time to relax, but I also don't want to be relaxing for 2 weeks, right? I
Yes.
wanna I wanna do it. I would say that I want to do relaxing adventures. Is that a valid answer? Like I
That's
don't
the
like just sitting in my bed and waiting time like for time to pass, but I also don't need to be hiking the whole day, right? I can do an activity that doesn't
mhm.
involve a lot of moving and stuff. So I like both.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's see. Best place you have visited.
Hawaii, I think, would be my choice. I think it's always between Hawaii and Japan for me.
Hmm.
Well, it depends. I think the actual answer is the French Polynesia when I had my honeymoon, where I
Okay.
had my honeymoon.
Hmm.
Sorry, like Bora Bora. It is the most fantastic place I've ever been to in terms of how different it is from everything and how pretty it is. It's definitely the most beautiful place I've ever been to. So that is the number one place as far as going on a singular vacation,
Okay.
right? But as places themselves, I think Hawaii and Japan are the top for me. I think Hawaii is just so different from everything because you get this paradise side of it and you also get the entire functional civilization part of it, right?
Yes.
Because it is just the US, so like your
Hmm.
phone works and there's all the US chains and everything that you want is there, right? It's not like you're in the middle of a secluded beach in Thailand
Hmm.
and then if you want water you can't find it, right? So it's very different. So you get the same exotic experience as a secluded beach in Thailand with all the comforts of living like in New York, right? It's kind of
Yes.
like the mix
Hmm.
of both things, and I haven't found that anywhere else. And I think Japan, because well, the food is great. Japanese is
Hmm.
my favorite type of food, so that is a big plus. And the people are so incredibly nice in Japan. Like even the people who don't understand you at all, because
Hmm.
not everyone speaks English there, they just try so hard to make your time there good that it's hard not to fall in love with it, I think.
Yeah, I've never been to Japan, but I've heard exactly what you just said. Kind of like, even though they don't understand you, they'll try their best to help you. So yeah, it sounds
Yeah,
crazy.
it's incredible how nice they are.
Okay. What's your go-to snack at the corner store, Paulo?
Um, Something from the ice cream fridge,
All right.
probably. Like
Uh,
yeah, some type of ice cream. I don't really have
okay.
one go-to snack, but
Mhm.
it's gonna be frozen probably.
Okay. That is the first frozen answer I've ever gotten. So, favorite childhood TV show.
I honestly don't know.
Okay, if it comes to you, just let me know. But
Okay.
honestly, we can just pass. Okay, so we're just gonna do a couple holiday themed questions, just because it's near the holidays. Do you have a favorite holiday song?
Um. Also no. Uh. Yeah, I've never really thought about it. My favorite holiday song.
Okay,
No,
we'll
I don't
pass
think
on that
so.
one. It's okay. Just as I asked it, I said to myself, well, Paulo doesn't really listen to music, so maybe he's not gonna have an answer for this. Holiday movie.
So just this holiday or any? I really like the. Well, it's not really a holiday movie, but they play it every time during this season in Brazil.
That's fine.
The Prince of Egypt.
Okay.
You know that the cartoon. I really like it. Is the kind of thing that I'll always go and watch. Although I guess it has some religious background, so they decided to just put it near Christmas. So I always associate it with that, even though it's not what actually the movie is about. I like Home Alone too.
Oh yeah,
I guess it's a Christmas movie.
it is 100% a Christmas movie, pal.
Yeah. So I guess those would be my answers.
Okay. What's the best gift you have given? And it doesn't have to necessarily be at Christmas time or
I
this time
think
of the year.
probably when I took my mom and my wife Karina took her mom
Mm.
also to a trip in Europe, and then we spent a month in Europe. We went to many different countries. We went on a cruise in the Greek islands, so it was just really huge trip that we took them on, and they really loved it. So that
Mm-hmm.
was probably the best gift I've given, I guess.
No, it sounds really nice. Do you have a favorite holiday food?
Um, no, and I think we actually don't do the holiday food the same as you guys do.
Okay.
Uh, because well, at least when I watch on TV, I don't have a lot of experience with how you treat the holidays. But when I watch on
Mm-hmm.
TV, it's always like there's mashed potatoes and mac and cheese and the turkey, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very uniform in terms of what exists, right? And for us, yeah, we'll have a turkey, but then an assortment of different things depending on there's not one person that's preparing the meal. Just each
Okay.
person brings a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have a family gathering of 20 people, there's going to be 20 different dishes there. And each
Okay.
person is just going to bring whatever they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be thematically Christmas. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have a favorite. There's not one dish that I look forward to eating at any point. Basically, there's no one specific dish that I'm really looking forward to.
Okay. Is there I'm just wondering out of curiosity, is there a specific dish that is associated with the holidays from Brazil, or not really?
I mean, I guess turkey is still associated with it,
Okay.
but what surrounds the turkey is always going to be very different. There is something that I do not look forward to though, which is raisins everywhere.
Okay.
And yeah, people have this tendency. I don't know if that happens in the U.S. too, where here it's like, oh, it's Christmas. We can't just have rice. We have to have rice with raisins. And it just can't just be potato salad. It has to have raisins in it, and I don't like raisins. So it's they put so many raisins. It's
Mhm.
hard to take down a lot. So that I don't like very much. But in terms
Okay.
of dishes, yeah, you can basically have anything that you would eat normally. It can be a Christmas dish.
Please check out part 2 of my interview with Paulo, link in the description below. Subscribe for new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Thanks for watching, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next video.